to dark as I walked to the mill, the only light coming from the flicker of gas lamps and the glow of factory windows where work has already begun. The air is damp and cold, and the cobblestones are slick underfoot. I clutch my shawl tight against the chill, though I know the workshop will soon chase it away with its stifling heat. The factory is a monstrous thing, all iron and brick, its chimneys coughing black smoke into the sky. Inside, the noise is deafening, a cacophony of clattering looms and the steady thrum of machines that never seem to tire. The first thing I do is take my place at the long workbench, surrounded by dozens of other women and girls. We nod to each other, a silent greeting. We've no need for words when we all know what's ahead. My fingers move automatically, stitching and hemming, mending and trimming. I've been sewing since I was a child, taught by my mother, at home before the factory took me in. Back then, it was needle and thread by candlelight, but now it's all speed and precision. There's no room for error. The overseer's eyes are always watching. If a stitch is crooked, or a hem uneven, there's a reprimand waiting, maybe even a docked wage. I keep my head down and my hands busy. It's better that way. The work is hard, not just on the hands but on the body. My back aches from leaning over the bench. My eyes sting from straining to see in the dim light, and my fingers are pricked and raw from the needles. By midday, the air is thick with the smell of oil and sweat, and the whir of machines feels like it's burrowed into my skull. We're given half an hour for our midday meal, a piece of bread, maybe some cheese, if I've been able to spare a little extra from my wages. We sit in the corner, my friends and I, talking quietly about nothing in particular. Sometimes we laugh, but it's a tired sort of laughter, the kind that doesn't quite reach the eyes. It's the women I work with who keep me going. Really, there's Mary, who hums softly under her breath as she stitches, and Annie, who always has a quick word to make you smile. We share stories of home, of dreams we dare not speak too loudly. I've known girls who've been here only a year or two before their bodies give out, worn down by the endless hours and the relentless pace. I wonder sometimes how long I'll last. Will I still be here in 5 years? 10, the thought terrifies me. At the end of the day, when the bell finally rings and the machines fall silent, I feel like I've aged a year in a single shift. My hands are cramped and sore, my head pounding, but there's a strange sort of relief in knowing I've made it through another day. I walk home through the smoky streets, my body heavy with exhaustion. Sometimes I stop by the grocer to pick up a loaf of bread or a few potatoes for supper. I count every penny carefully. There's never enough to feel secure. When I finally sit by the fire in the tiny room I share with my younger sister, I let myself think, just for a moment, about what might come next. The world is changing, they say. These machines, these factories, they're building a new kind of life. But at what cost? I've seen men and women thrown out of work, their trades replaced by the very machines that are supposed to make life easier. I've heard whispers of strikes and protests, of people demanding better wages, shorter hours. I wonder if I'll live to see the day when the worker is treated with dignity, when our labour is valued as much as the machines we feed. And yet, for all the hardship, there's something in me that refuses to give up hope. I dream of a little shop of my own, where I can sew at my own pace, creating beautiful things for people who appreciate the work that goes into them. It's a foolish dream, perhaps, but it's mine, and it's what keeps me going. So that's my life, or a piece of it at least. The days are hard, the nights too short, but there's a quiet strength in knowing I'm not alone in this. We women, we seamstresses and mill workers, we endure, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be the ones to stitch together a better